and gentlemen, can we please go crazy and wild for Richard Wilde, everybody?
Hey everyone, so before I start, if I could just ask you to all lower your expectations, please. So, yeah, I've got a few fans in the audience here tonight. Got a few fans. Got a bit of a fan club going. So thanks for coming out. Yeah, I've got a bit of a fan club going there, a few fans. So that's fans plural, I'll have you know. It's more than two as well, for that matter. There's like 3 or 4. Not even, I've kind of lost count. It's just growing so at this stage that, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. Probably not 5. I think that would be, at this stage I think that would be an exaggeration to say that. It could be 4. In fact, if my popularity keeps growing, I'm probably going to overtake the United Future Party. I think they're pretty much done. So, yeah, tonight I'm just going to tell you kind of about how I'm really talented. I haven't really got enough time to go through it all, so it's kind of just going to be a bit of an overview of some of the talents. So, firstly, one of my main interests is philosophy, which is actually a topic that's perfectly suited for stand-up comedy. It's a hilarious topic, ideal for this format. So one of my most admired philosophers is Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, and he's famous for saying that the unexamined life is not worth living. And one of Socrates' students said to him, "Well, what about the examined life? Is that worth living?" To which he replied, well, he thought this over actually for a little while, and then he drank some hemlock at that point. And another account of Socrates' death is that he was talking to a student, and he said to the student, got some beeps. He said to the student, feel some vibrations. He said to his student, all that we can know is that we know nothing. And to which the student replied, yeah, but then wouldn't we know something? Socrates thought this over for a few minutes, and then his head exploded. I'm also quite interested in politics and current events. For example, there's been some controversy about doping in the media this year. Well, I've got to say that Lance Armstrong may have been doping, but actually, I don't actually care about sports enough to form an opinion. Sorry about that just didn't really go anywhere. But I am interested in real politics. I grew up in quite a conservative family. My grandfather actually voted for Colin Craig in the last election. Conservative Party leader Colin Craig, a bit of a douchebag, I've got to say. I hope he doesn't find out about this and sue me, but bit of a douchebag. But yeah, my family's quite conservative, and I was raised to believe that how much money you make in life is really determined by how hard you work, and well, the phrase in the family was, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And what this basically means is that, to give a practical example, University of Auckland Vice Chancellor Stuart McCutcheon earns $650,000 a year. We could contrast this with a cleaner who earns about $30,000 a year. And basically this means that McCutcheon works about 22 times harder than the cleaner does. He's a hard-working son of a bitch. I also write poetry. Some of you may not know, but I dabble in writing poetry. I actually brought a little poem with me. This poem I wrote in 2012, it's called On the Floor. I found an M&M on the floor, so I ate it. The poem was received positively by critics. The poet Ross Brighton wrote, "I like the narrative tension in the middle." And finally, one of my other main interests, and some would say talents, is comedy. Now, it might seem like a lot of work being a comedian, might seem quite difficult to continuously come up with fresh material for the audiences, but when you actually break it down, you only, say a comedian does about 60 minutes show each year, that breaks down to about 10 seconds of new material each day. And actually, I've got to say, if you can't even come up with a mere 10 seconds of new material on average each day, then just got to say, you should probably just use some filler material. For example, you could talk about the amount of material a comedian would have to come up with. And that would probably be about a minute in the bank right there. And that brings me up to 6 minutes, so thank you very much.